Or what it... One second. That's better. What is going on, world? Welcome back once again. My name is ZacNovak and this is ZacNovak Plays Games. Well, really, actually, in this video, it's talking about this thing here. This week at Bungie. So, Bungie's actually dropped their new teaser for the upcoming update that we do know that the update in itself is called 1.1.4 and is being released fairly soon. It is indeed having 6v6 gameplay, which I myself am really actually happy about. So getting into things, they do state, gotta go fast. Last week Cosmo asked you fine readers to set an agenda on what we'd talk about in this week's article. The overwhelming response was the sandbox, which I'm guessing a lot of people really wanted to hear about, because I myself kind of wanted to hear about just anything, any form of changes coming to Destiny that is actually, you know, making it, I guess, more Destiny 1-ish, because all this stuff kind of sounds a little bit like Destiny 1. So yeah, let's go into some other things. And Kevin states, hey everyone, Kevin here from the Crucible team. I'm dropping by to share details on the rest of the changes heading into the update 1.1.4. As Derek mentioned in last week's TWUB, Iron Banner, Rumble and Mayhem are making their triumphant return to Destiny 2, with a few twists. Iron Banner itself now has 6v6, Mayhem features 90% fewer Nova bombs. That's cool. They fixed the issue that they actually, you know, found during the dawning, which kind of sucks because it was really cool to see unlimited Nova bombs, but not really to experience it. So yeah, the new state Rumble has welcomed 2 additional players, so that is pretty cool. 8-man Rumble. That is awesome, I don't actually have to say. There is also a lot to get excited about. Update 1.1.4, they do say that there is something the team really wanted to actually do, is go back and refine some of the core experiences. So, looking at the feedback, it is clear that the community felt there were 2 key areas for improvement with the Crucible: the time to kill and team shotting. Yes, that is a problem. So they do set their sights out and are working on a rework on the system in itself for the mechanics and the values to actually tackle these 2 areas, which is pretty cool. Does this mean you're changing time to kill? Well, they looked at the core feedback on time to kill in the Crucible and they saw that it was mostly stemmed from a lack of excitement or spikes in intensity you all came to expect from, you know, the Destiny 1 experience. Which again, we're kind of moving back towards that. This came in the form of a feedback that stated the game was too slow or the core loop was too stale. Definitely, I do have to agree on that. There is that we agree, and we have worked with the sandbox to increase the pace of the Crucible as a whole. Josh is going to speak to all of the sandbox changes here in a bit, in a little while, and won't actually, you know, steal the thunder from him. So there is that alongside all of the great changes in the sandbox that the team has made, they are setting their sights on making the Crucible faster, more dynamic, and more action-packed experience on the activity side, which in some words, I guess, kind of just means we're going back to Destiny 1 as it did state, and things are going to get a little bit more faster and more, I guess, well-paced in Crucible. Which is cool, that's cool. Let's get down to the brass tacks and how they're actually planning on the changes for the Crucible and the delivery of their goal that is actually stated above. Here is the overview of the changes they are bringing in the update 1.1.4. Respawn and revive were actually tuned in all game modes. Players' respawn timers for all quick modes have actually been reduced by 2 seconds. Player respawn timers for survival have been reduced to 7 seconds. Revival lockout time in countdown has reduced to 7 seconds, and players no longer lose revive tokens on death. Cool. Power ammo. This is a big one. I was excited for this. Just bear with me. Power ammo respawn timers were adjusted across the board. Power ammo timers respawn in Iron Banner have been reduced by 50%. Power ammo respawn timers in all quick play modes have been reduced by 30%. Power ammo respawn timers in survival have been reduced by 40%. And power ammo respawn timers in countdown have been reduced by 25%. So that means less colonies that are going to be coming around killing me. Anyway, they do state that ammo counts have actually been adjusted in the relation to these timers and the relation to the weapon type. In almost all cases, either weapons retained the same ammo count or received a buff. Swords and rockets were brought down to stay in line with the rest of the weapon offerings. So no more just rockets, colonies, and swords. Cool! I'm happy with that. Thank you, Bungie. Enemy players, this is one where it kind of just gets me, hits me hard again. Enemy players now drop their power ammo on death. This brick is now networked to all players regardless of faction. Secure the power brick to keep it from your foes or steal off your enemy's ghost. But be quick because these bricks don't stay in the world forever. You don't literally just have to run up and press X on it so you pick it up. It's cool. I like it. There is a new feature where you do have to actually pick it up. You don't just automatically get given the heavy ammo that has been dropped on the floor from killing your enemies. I don't know why I got so hyped for that, or heated. Anyway, what about competitive? They do state during the development of 1.1.4, they did realize that while they did reduce the team shotting, they did say in quick play and Iron Banner effectively, they hadn't actually done quite the same to competitive. Knowing this, they did look for a change that reinforced the following goals: reduce team clumping, reward individual plays, and incentivize flanks. With these goals in mind, they did look to take a bigger step in shifting the gameplay of competitive, and in trials starting in 1.1.4, they've opted to remove the tracker from all competitive and trials game modes. So that kind of just adds another layer on top of why I don't want to play trials. No map, no good. I'm scared when I can't see my enemies. It's not great. They do state this means more communication is required to actually secure the victories in competitive and trials matches. It also means that a crispy flank with power ammo is all the more powerful. Subverting expectations and reading opponents is more potent in matches with no tracker. In playtests, they've actually gone through and seen some clutch underdog comebacks, and they can't actually wait to see what we do in competitive and trials, starting with the 1.1.4. However, that being said, they do always want to actually say they are listening and reacting to feedback. If you want to add in pretty much any other changes or anything like that, maybe kind of, let them know and they'll kind of listen potentially and maybe put it in for 1.1.4. Potentially though, maybe just in the future when other things go live. But this update is pretty freaking cool. Continuing on a little bit further down, they do have Hemrick. He says, "Hello friends! As I mentioned last time, our goal for this update is to provide individual players with more hero moments by increasing overall speed and mobility, increasing the number of supers you charge to demolish your enemies, and increasing the frequency and impact of our most montage-worthy power weapons, especially in the Crucible." They just say, with update 1.1.4 drawing ever closer, it feels like a good time to actually swing back by and provide some updates and additional clarity to what they've actually, talked about with the patch that will actually be dropped in, not too long actually. I'm hyped. It's coming soon. Anyway, the first thing you should know, we very much are excited for this update to go live. After weeks of solid playtesting, some with external participants, we feel like this is shaping up to be an update you will really be happy with. Huge shout out to everyone that was involved and that helped in the list of possible changes that grow instead of shrunk. In itself, they do also state that all of these people who actually have playtested and gave a quality, actionable feedback was good. So that in itself is pretty awesome. We kind of know that people that are doing this stuff are actual gamers and not just these people that want to just see more stuff where they're microtransactionable. Anyway, moving on, they do actually state, now here's an updated version of the list of changes first detailed in the February 1st TWAB. New and or updated entries are highlighted in bold. So that's cool. That's one of those things where it's like, it's kind of cool. It's bolded. Anyway, all 3 glides, plus catapult and strafe lift, have been returned and buffed to make them faster and more unique. Destiny 1. The mobility stat range has been expanded and completely returned as well. In short, everyone gets faster and the high-end stats is higher. Destiny 1. The player's ground speed cap has been increased, allowing for faster total movement speed regardless of how you may get there. Destiny 1. Yeah, just saying, it feels as if we're kind of just re-rolling and going back to Destiny 1. Maybe Bungie should have kind of, expanded on Destiny 1, not just kind of paved over it. Not saying it was bad or nothing, but hey, these things are changing. They do state that Arc Strider, Sentinel, and Striker all move faster in the same speed as one another, while in their supers, that is. Arc Strider as a whole is performing well in PvP, but mostly due to its neutral game perks. Bungie's actually now made changes, and the following changes are going into effect, and the super in itself will be, more competitive or less competitive the way you kind of see it. They do state faster attack animations, faster dodge animations, and increased range on all attacks. So yeah, more pole dancers that are going to beat me up. Great, love it. Anyway, they do also state they increased this. The shoulder charge has actually been reverted, allowing shoulder charge to be used as a movement mode once again. Destiny 1. Can I get a Destiny 1 in the comments section? Anyone? Thank you. Anyone? Just yeah. So again, this is the bolded part that they've kind of talked about. Dawnblade has been improved. Reduced cost for throwing swords, allowing for 1 additional throw. Great. Increased super duration extension gain from Everlasting Fire. Great. Removes all in-air accuracy penalties while Swift Strike is active. Cool. Reduced the Icarus dash cooldown. That I do actually like. That's pretty cool. Increase the grenade and melee energy heat rises gives you per kill. That in itself, yeah, that's also pretty cool. And this part is, yeah, still pretty cool, but you know, hunters and I'm a warlock. Anyway, invisibility on dodge / smoke updates. Invisibility on dodge no longer breaks aim assist or projectile tracking in PvP. It's unchanged in PvE however, so keep that in mind. Dodging still breaks both aim assist and projectile tracking, but only for the duration of the actual dodge. They increase the duration of invisibility on dodge by 1 second, and increase the duration of smoke bomb invisibility by 1 second. Cool. Supers recharge faster for everyone. You get a super and you get a super and no, not really. They actually just kind of recharge 1 minute 40 seconds faster than what they were before. That's cool. 25% reduction in what it was. Hype, but yeah, could be kind of a little bit faster than it needs to be, but Destiny 1. Mods that reduce grenade, melee, and class ability cooldowns have been buffed to allow for up to 2 times faster cooldowns. They do actually state this is not replacing mods 2.0, so that in itself is kind of, you know, wipe the sweat off my brow. Anyway, they actually also go on to state they have buffed weapon archetypes including but not limited to hand cannons, pulse rifles, sniper rifles, and shotguns. And a few specific perks just thrown in there as well. A key goal they had here was actually to make shotguns, snipers, and fusion rifles more prevalent in the game, even though these things in themselves, I do have to say, are pretty powerful and pretty prevalent, but snipers not so much. Everything else, yeah. So they go on to state that pulse rifles, they increased PvE damage on all pulses, increased rate of fire for adaptive and high impact pulses, increased base damage for adaptive, high impact, and rapid fire pulses, increased precision multiplier for lightweight pulses, decreased precision multiplier for adaptive pulses. This keeps precision damage close to where it was and actually stands, putting most of the buffs into the body shots, though it is actually still an increase in precision damage overall. So yeah, that kind of means the pulse rifles are getting a bit of a buff. Awesome. Means they're going to be slightly more powerful and a little bit better in PvP and PvE as well, as they say. Anyway, scout rifles. Increased PvE damage for all scouts and increased base damage for high impact scouts of themselves. Not big changes, but slight changes, so that's cool. I like it. Hand cannon. Increased PvE damage for all hand cannons, which I'm actually really hyped about because that means that a lot of the plays that I do in PvE are going to be a lot more, you know, explosive, because Sunshot is always amazing and hand cannon is Sunshot and Sunshot is a hand cannon. It's going to get better and it's going to have more damage and it's going to be like, yeah. I'll get into that. I'll explain later. They actually state the increased precision multiplier for precision hand cannons, increased hip fire accuracy on consoles, increased aim down sight accuracy on consoles as well, because that has been a problem for a while. They actually did also buff sidearms, which is really cool. Everything is getting buffed except for a few things. Sidearms, they increased PvE damage for all sidearms, increased hip fire accuracy, increased ADS accuracy, which is aim down sight, they increased inventory size, allowing more reserve ammo to be stored, and increased minimum range, which is pretty cool. And they added an aim down movement sight bonus, which is kind of one of those things where I guess when you're scoped in, it's slightly moving a little bit faster. Cool. SMGs, they have been increased in PvE. All damage in PvE for the SMG has actually been increased. They set the optics to 1.3. They increased the inventory size, allowing more reserve ammo to be stored. So not very much of big changes, but yeah, still changes nonetheless. Linear fusion rifles have increased PvE damage for all linear fusion rifles, increased precision multiplier, increased aim assist, and reduced flinch multiplier, which that is cool. That in itself makes linear fusion rifles slightly more, I guess, viable to use. in some states. Anyway, shotguns. They increase the PvE damage for all shotguns, which is cool in PvE, increased inventory size allowing more reserve ammo to be stored, and increased aim assist for Surus precision shotguns. They also have sniper rifles, which this is one that needs to be changed in everything, PvE and PvP. They increase the PvE damage for all snipers, they increase the precision multiplier, they increase the aim assist, and increase the inventory size allowing more reserve ammo to be stored. So yeah, not the biggest changes, but still changes, so that's cool, that's cool. Grenade launcher now has increased blast radius, which is, I guess, awesome, but not so cool with the colony. Assault rifles have decreased damage and aim assist stats for precision autos, Uriel's gift, which is being the burden in a lot of people's side, and base damage is not changed. And they do also have a few weapon perks that are also getting some updates. The high impact reserve is actually getting increased PvE damage, kill clip is getting increased PvE damage, rampage increased PvE damage and increased duration, dragonfly, which is the firefly of Destiny 2, increased damage, increased radius, and stronger visual effects. So yeah, sunshot, explosions, pretty cool. Grave robber as well. They actually have reload 0.5 magazine instead of 0.3. They have timed payload splits damage to 55 explosive and 45 direct damage instead of previously split, which was a more direct damage. Which, yeah, not really very much of a change in anything. Explosive rounds have decreased PvE explosive range damage, which isn't the greatest, but this decrease has been compensated for and with the increase of PvE damage for the base weapons. Your weapons' explosive rounds will not do less damage after the patch of 1.1.4. So, it's bad, but it's not actually bad. So it's cool, it's good. And as I state, there is a few other things that need to be wrapped up, so the mods rework. Now they do state, let's first talk about the changes to the potency of ability cooldown mods in our last update. They did mention that they were going down to weight and buff ability cooldowns at the same time when they actually dropped mods reworked. Over the last few weeks, however, it has become obvious that the mod rework was going to need more time to come together due to the scope of the changes. That decision, which has already been accounted for in the last roadmap that you guys actually saw, is ultimately going to be a win for everyone, which fingers crossed it really actually will be. It gives Bungie more time to actually, go ahead and deliver something that they in themselves believe will add more value to the game. They do state, however, they do understand that they should not actually kind of sit around and delay that much needed improvements to the ability cooldowns. So there are a few and many improvements that are actually going to be coming with the mods that are planned for the future, and they are going to greatly increase the output for ability cooldowns in mods in the update 1.1.4. So there's going to be cool mods coming 1.1.4, but not really, any new mods. So that's awesome, I guess. Invisibility. Night Stalkers, the day of reckoning is actually soon upon ye. Their invisible exploits may have actually been barely seen, but now they have most certainly been felt. In 1.1.4, the ability to ninja smoke out to avoid any and all incoming fire and or lightning is going to be reduced down to pure skill alone. So keep in mind that if you are a Night Stalker and you want to kind of, jump around and hop around and be invisible and be an ass, you're not going to be able to be much of an ass anymore. So yeah, ooh, I'm a warlock. I don't know. They do state there is this whole change that not only will they ever actually admit to being anything but as one of the 2 items deemed nerf worthy on the entire list of incoming sandbox changes. As the hunters shall deal with this, they also deal with everything else but a brush off the shoulder. So it is one of those things that doesn't really change very much, but in itself the Titans and the Locks are still going to come out victorious in the end, because maybe, hopefully, Warlocks, please survive the war. You need to survive the war. Anyway, currently the setup that they do actually have is initiate, dodge, or throw smoke. Dodging temporarily kills aim assist and projectile tracking, allowing you to actually dodge things. Then smoke just immediately jumps to initiate invisibility. For the duration of invisibility, aim assist and projectile tracking remain disabled. The dodge finishes and invisibility expires. Aim assist and tracking are re-enabled. So pretty much all it is when you actually dodge, you don't have that aim assist or projectile tracking until you actually, come out of being invisible. what they want to actually do in this. This is PvP only, as they do state coming soon in 1.1.4 PvP only. Keep that in mind. They initiate dodge or throw smoke. Dodging temporarily kills aim assist and projectile tracking, allowing you to actually dodge things. Smoke just immediately jumps to initiate invisibility. Dodge finishes, aim assist and tracking are re-enabled, and then invisibility expires. So they do say nothing actually changes for PvE except that they also get a 1 second duration increase to invisibility. So pretty much all it is you're actually going to have aim assist and tracking on your projectiles after you've gone into that initial dodge roll, which is kind of cool, and it speeds you up that little bit faster and potentially can make hunters slightly more of a challenge. So keep that in mind. It's one of those things that could be a problem. They do state that snipers in the last update were mentioned how a nasty bug has actually crept into the scopes and made it near impossible for Bungie to actually correctly tune the sniper flinch. They do have good news that the fix will be implemented and the things will go live in actual update 1.2.0. That update is planned for May. The sweet sniper action is on the way. So fingers crossed we are going to kind of, get some real cool sniping action in the future. They do also state, this is not the end. While you are getting very excited for this update to get in your hands, they actually believe that they in themselves are, gonna pretty much put out something really freaking awesome, and they believe that we in ourselves are gonna really enjoy the changes. They all do state they know these aren't the only changes that actually need to come to the game to actually address what is being talked about in the feedback, but it is just the first leg of a long journey. They do hope this makes the game more fun for all players, and that it begins to bring back a hero moment and, those moments where you feel like you're just clutching it and being a boss. It also makes you feel a little bit more like a tiny god. But they also do say they hope that we do know that in the future there is going to be more to come, and that this actually gets us excited for pretty much everything along the way. On that note, there is a video that they did actually say was pulled from a 1.2.0 playtest that has all of the 1.1.4 sniper changes and the new sniper flinch fixes in and working. So if they have them in and working and they haven't put them out yet, does that mean that they don't want us to actually see it? I don't know. But anyway, let us check out this video.
Good counter. Now hit them again. Zone B captured. Zone advantage is yours. Vicious. All of you together, like Iron Lords. 2 down. You're pulling ahead.
Alrighty, so that has been this week at Bungie. Sorry that the video was slightly late. It is pretty much a usual thing for me to have late videos. If you guys have watched to the end of this, I do have to say you guys are amazing. Thank you for your actual, time. Thank you for being awesome. Just thank you for being you. If you guys have enjoyed this video, click that like button down below, leave a comment, let me know what you actually thought about it. Share this video around because people need to know the knowledge and what's actually coming with this new update in Destiny 2. We need to get more people back into the game and more people playing, because it is actually changing and it is getting better. It's becoming more like Destiny 1, which is kind of weird to say because it's supposed to be in the future and like expanding past, but again, one of those things that just happens. It's like Destiny 1 in Destiny 2. Hopefully in the future, by year 3, Destiny 2 will be as cool, if not cooler, than Destiny 1. Anyway, this has been ZacNovak. Do all that good stuff down below. I'm actually going to record a video for Zor after this one. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, do all that good stuff. I'll be cheering like Karen ever. He was a cheering. But until next time, this is ZacNovak signing off. Peace out.